Hey everyone, it's Hannah with Slant. Today I'm excited to share about magic buttons and our AI actions that we've recently added into workflows. So, one of the new triggers we've added is a magic button. A magic button can be added to anywhere where there's a chat within Slant. So, whether that's on a client or prospect chat or on a meeting chat. I've got a few already set up here. So, if I head into a household, you'll see I've got this button that I've customized. And when I click on that button, it'll do whatever actions I've set up in my workflow. So to build these magic buttons, you'll first select whether you want the magic button to appear on the household or on the meeting. And once you do that, if it is a household, if it is a household type, it'll just have you select either prospect or client chat, and then you'll be able to give the button a title, a description, an icon, and a color. And this is just for internal purposes so you can differentiate between the different magic buttons that you set up. And then next, you'll add all of the actions that you want to happen as a result of that magic button being clicked. So there's a lot of different opportunities in here. We recently, however, added some AI actions, which add a lot of value to these magic buttons. So I'm just going to briefly go over these. The categorize uses AI to categorize data based on a prompt that you give it. The filter button uses AI to filter the data based on criteria that you give. So, for example, only continue if the meeting discusses an action item, only continue if this household has at least this much in AUM. The draft email allows you to give a prompt on this step, and then AI will draft an email using the context on that client or prospect and the prompt that you've given. And then research allows you to give a prompt for the research to go and find information on that client or prospect, either again from information within Slant or also information on the web. And so you can add any number of these actions. And when you click on one of these AI steps in particular, it'll just have you give it a prompt, and the AI will then use that prompt to perform that action. So I just want to show a couple of pre-built workflows I have set up. I have one for each of the different chat types for prospect, client, and meeting. And these are some best practices and great workflows that you can immediately implement to start automating your processes. So one example is on the prospect chat, you want it to search the web for information on the prospect. We, of course, have the data enrichment going, which will provide good information. But if you want to dive even deeper to any articles on the internet or any other publicly available information, this is a great workflow to set up. So again, you would just set up a magic button on the prospect household type, add your title description, and then add an AI research step and give it a nice prompt telling it what information you want to look for on the web. Another example is to prepare for your next meeting with a client. So in this magic button, I've added a household type as client. I've added a button title and description. And then again, I've added an AI research step and given it a prompt to look at all the information on that client and prepare 3 recommendations to discuss with the client on the next meeting. You could also continue and, send an email with an agenda for the meeting or do other actions, but a basic one is just to research the information. And then the third workflow would be to do a follow-up email from the meeting chat. I think this is going to be one of the most popular ones, and we've seen this probably be the most popular action on the meeting chat. So you can add a magic button again to appear on meeting. And when you click that magic button, you can have it draft an email. And we've given it a prompt for the email on what things to look for, how to format that email, and you could even give an example email in the prompt if you have a specific output on the way you like those emails to look. So once you've set up those workflows, make sure to publish your changes and enable the workflow, and then you'll be able to see those buttons on the chat. So let's dive into each of those examples quickly here. I'm going to go to the client chat here, and I've got my prepare for next meeting button. And so when I click this button, it's going to, again, search through all the context that is on this client, and it's going to use the prompt from that AI research step, and it's going to prepare for my next meeting. Awesome. Okay, so we can see based on all that context, it's given me basic information on the household, and then it's going to prepare 3 recommended items to discuss in the next meeting. Now I'm going to head over to the prospect chat, and this is where I've prepared that web research action item. And if I click that, it's going to search the web for all of those different criteria that I told it to look for in my AI prompt on the research step. Awesome. So we can see again from that AI research step that it's found all this information about me from the internet. And then the next place, of course, that you can add a magic button is from the meeting chat on any of your past meetings. And so again, I've had it create a workflow to draft a recap email. And if I click that, it'll research the meeting. And then based on action items and follow-ups, it will draft an email for that prospect or client. Awesome. And then that will, of course, allow you to view the email draft and you can send that email then to the prospect or client after reviewing. So those are magic buttons. There's a lot that you can do with that, but those are just 3 helpful use cases, and we encourage you to dive in there. And of course, reach out if you've got any questions. Thanks.